You will never have a loyal partner until you realize this. If someone wants you in their life, they would do anything to keep you in. And if they don't want you in their life, absolutely nothing you do or say would change their mind. When two people truly care for each other, they always find a way to make it work, no matter how hard it is. The sad truth is that so many people are in love, but not together. And so many people are together. True love is when you don't know why you're attracted to that person. The past cannot be changed, edited, or erased. It can only be accepted. If you love somebody, let them go. For if they return, they were always yours.
Arpachshad, Arpachshad, Lud, Aram, the sons of Aram, Uz, Ul, Gether, and Mash. Arpachshad became the father of Shelah, and Shelah became the father of Eber. To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, For in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan became the father of Almodad. Sheleph has Armaveth, Jerah, uh, one was Pelaj, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan became the father of Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Adoram, Uzel, Dikla, Obal, Abibael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. The territory in which they lived extended from Misha in the direction of Sephar, the hill country of the east. These are the sons of Shem, by their families, their languages, their lands, and their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah according to their genealogies and their nations, and from these the nations spread abroad on the earth after the flood. Now the whole earth had one language and few words. And as men migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had bricks for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad." فشهادة أحدهم أربع شهادات بالله إنه لمن الصادقين والخامسة أن لعنة الله عليه إن كان من الكاذبين ويدرأ عنها العذاب أن تشهد أربع شهادات بالله إنه لمن الكاذبين والخامسة أن غضب الله عليها إن كان من الصادقين ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته وأن الله تواب حكيم إن الذين جاءوا بالإفك عصبة لا تحسبوه شرا لكم بل هو خير لكم لكل امرئ منهم ما اكتسب من الإثم والذي تولى كبره منهم له عذاب عظيم لولا إذ سمعتموه ظن المؤمنون والمؤمنات بأنفسهم خيرا وقالوا هذا إفك مبين لولا جاءوا عليه بأربعة شهداء فإذ لم يأتوا بالشهداء فأولئك عند الله هم الكاذبون ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته في الدنيا والآخرة لمسكم فيما أفضتم فيه عذاب عظيم إذ تلقونه بألسنتكم وتقولون بأفواهكم ما ليس لكم به علم وتحسبونه هينا وهو عند الله عظيم
because Teal goes on Ari Weiss's show. Teal backs national conservatism, which is run by Hazoni. And you say you've heard all this.
I have two jobs.
Because Teal.
You must have amnesia. They forget.
Jesus.
All right, let me give you the five black
No,
movies
hold on.
you missed.
Holly, have you ever heard
Let
of
me give my
Daughters of
sister
the Dust?
something.
No,
Let me
you got
give
to
my
shut
black sister. Let me give my black sister
No,
five
hold
movies.
on, dude. Stop. Stop
Hold
cutting
on, you
people
gonna give
off.
a white-
No,
white-
I'm going to turn on you in a minute if you don't stop cutting
It's
people
not
off.
fucking nice, Brad.
I'm trying to help you.
You gonna turn them on? Whoa.
So, like, Holly, have you ever heard of Daughters in the Dust? Or What Happened to Miss Simone?
Oh, I think What Happened to Miss Simone is something I've seen because I do love Nina Simone, particularly her rendition of Lil Liza Jane, like my all-time favorite song ever. But yeah, the other one, no, I've not heard.
Callie, have you seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? That was so good.
Yeah, that would give five black movies.
Tell y'all, I got a question.
Wait, hold on. Let me give her five black
Hold on,
movies.
Jacoby, shut the fuck up.
Hold on.
Jacoby.
Hold on, real
I'm
quick.
gonna smack you with a fucking ruler,
Hold on,
Jacoby.
nigga. You're not Brad, bitch. Shut up. Let me give you five black movies.
Talia, do you have a class act and house party in your lineup?
She said class act.
No, house party too.
Yes, nigga, you can't
listen.
So
Listen.
I have seen
No, I
at least
heard
the
it.
first. I have seen at least the first house party, so that's going to be closer to the end of the month.
Yep.
I'll start with things I had never heard of, and get to the things I'm more familiar with towards the end of the month.
Alright, so you missed five good movies. You missed five black movies. You missed The Wood. You missed Beloved. You missed Love and Basketball. Love Don't Cost a Thing. And the other one I think is called Gift by the Bayou or some funny shit like that.
Something I know the Bayou one.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
and the wife cheated.
Eve's Bayou.
Eve's Bayou. The husband.
Yo, you ever see 187? That's even better than Higher Level. 187.
Yeah. Eve's Bayou. I knew somebody's gonna know. That's good.
What about the autobiography of Mrs. Jane Pittman?
Fucking shit is that?
I haven't seen that. I've never even heard of it.
Some
So,
black
it's
struggle
a-
shit, probably.
Probably a slave movie.
Oh, well, Eric, you could talk to us about that. Tell us more about your favorite movie, Birth of a Nation. Is it?
No, that's your favorite movie.
Yeah, that's yours.
No, it's not.
What
It's
about
yours,
American
Eric.
History X? When they
It's
kick that
yours,
Jones
Eric.
third.
You said it on the...
Precious hilltops of New Hampshire.
That
replay of
favorite movie.
From the mighty mountains, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains,
Starkly Weathers was in the
we believe
1960s. Completely black movie.
This beat
Okay, so didn't answer the question.
You don't gotta interrupt every time I'm speaking, man. But whenever you ask, if I
Wolf is really upset.
Jeff is really happy that I'm playing Heroes of Might and Magic to be 8.
Justin, you believe in the analytic synthetic distinction, Justin?
He's not up here.
Yes, he is.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, he is. Oh, weird. My shit wasn't updated. I don't think Justin knows what that means.
What are you guys talking about?
In general,
I see.
like, yeah, because I'm with my dad. You know, my dad is
Yeah.
old and blind from one eye. The other eye is halfway fucked up, so I can't, unless I have. Well, it's what it is. You know, he's 86, so it's whenever I have to go somewhere, dental appointment, he has to come with me, which is in general like a 20-30 minute, or he has to be with my mom, or somebody has to be with him, you know, in case he falls or something.
Right.
You know, he doesn't know how to use the internet. He presses his phone so hard he breaks all the buttons of his Nokia brick phone.
That's a hard phone to break, by the way.
Yeah, he has the old school the phones without internet, so it all for me is like, okay, I got to schedule everything at least like a week and a half, if not 2 weeks ahead.
I see it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
Ever heard that? Really? Because I had a friend that I grew up with, actually, but she was like a prodigy. So she graduated like magna cum laude from Harvard Medical School. And people were still trying to run this, you affirmative action. This is the only reason you're at this. Because I went to Wake Forest with her, and like the white people were giving her hell because like they were promoting her. She was very, very brilliant, and went on to graduate magna cum laude for Harvard Medical School. But these people are still talking about. Like back then was affirmative action hire. So I don't know if this went from affirmative action or what. Because now I've never heard of the DEI term until like a couple of years ago, and I'm just like, what is that, and where did that come from?
Isn't DEI a hypnosis like BLM or CRT?
Yeah, seemed like it. Definitely.
Well, they did a report. They said that white women were the main beneficiaries of DEI. And I assume they're probably lesbians.
It always comes down to the pussy. Gotta get your lick back. Pussy bends steel.
This nigga cycle.
What'd you say, Tia?
I said there's a lot of non-lesbian white women in positions. Like, I think now women outnumber men in being lawyers, and I don't think they're all lesbian. So.
But I'm saying that's what the report didn't say they were lesbian, but the report just said white women. But I'm assuming that they're probably lesbian and transgender white women.
LGBTQCRTBLMDEI 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 DEI CRTBLM LGBTQ LGBTQ CRTBLM LGBTQ DEI DEI CRTBLM LGBT DEI CRTBLM LGBTQ DEI
I think this is
DEI CRTBLM.
Don't break him back up until I.
It was not me. Bring him back up.
Talking because I'm trying to make a point. I think it is a little bit of the backlash too from like the white women coming up and then like turning on their men so much the way they do, and with the Me Too movement and everything like that. People said there was going to be a backlash with this Hollywood stuff and all that, with them trying to get rid of the casting couch and trying to drag all these people down. They were like, women are going to take the backlash from that eventually, and they're going to start being shut out.
Lord judge between you and me. Between you and me. But Abram said to Sarai, behold, your maid is in your power. Do to her as you please. Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to shore. And he said, Hagar, maid of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. The angel of the Lord also said to her, I will so greatly multiply your descendants that they cannot be numbered or multitude. Let me reread that. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to shore, and he said, Hagar, maid of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. The angel of the Lord also said to her, I will so greatly multiply your descendants that they cannot be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, behold, you are with child and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has given heed to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man. his hand against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell over against all his kinsmen. So she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are a good God of seeing. For she said, have I really seen God and remained alive after seeing him? Therefore the well was called Ber La Ero. It lies between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son. And Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am God Almighty. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. Then Abram fell on his face, and God said to him, Behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be the father of a multitude of nations. No longer shall your name be Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you the father of a multitude of nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come forth from you, and I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant to be God to you and to your descendants after you. And I will give to you and your descendants after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said to Abraham, As for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and your descendants after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He that is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised. Every male throughout your generations, whether born in your house or bought with your money from any foreigner who is not of your offspring, both he that is born in your house and he that is bought with your money shall be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh, an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And God said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, or Sarah, but Sarah shall be her name. I will bless her, and moreover I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall come from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said to himself, Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live in your sight. God said, No, but Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. And Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live in your sight. Let me go back. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said to himself, Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, Oh, that Ishmael might live in your sight. God said, No, but Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him and make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. He shall be the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you as a season next year. At this season next year. When we had finished talking with him, God went up from Abraham. Then Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all the slaves born in his house or brought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and he circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that very day, as God had said to him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcising the flesh of his foreskin. That very day, Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised, and all the men of his house, those born in the house, and those brought with money from a foreigner, and those bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. And the Lord appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men stood in front of him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the earth, and said, My Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, while I fetch a morsel of bread, that you may refresh yourselves, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant. So they said, Do as you have said. And Abraham had hastened into the tent of Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, and took a calf, tender and good, and gave it to the servants, and hastened to
I'm
and he took herbs and milk and the calf which he had prepared, and set it before them. And he stood by
Is that
them,
okay
and
to drink wine?
they said to him, Where is Sarah your wife? And he said, She is in the tent. The Lord said, I will surely return you in the spring, and Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah was listening to the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in age, and had ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, After I have grown old, and my husband is old, shall I have pleasure? The Lord said to Abraham, Why does Sarah laugh and say, Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you in the spring, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. He said, No. And Sarah denied, saying, quote, I did not laugh, for she was afraid, and he said, No, but you did laugh. Then the men set out from there, and they looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to set them on their way. The Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do, seeing that Abraham shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves by him? No, for I have chosen him that he may charge his children, his household after him, to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, Because that outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very great, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry which has come to me. If not, I will know. So the men turned from there and went towards Sodom. But Abraham still stood before the Lord. Then Abraham drew near and said, Will you indeed destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city. Will you then destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to slay the righteous with the wicked. Far be it from you to do such a thing, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous fare as the wicked. Far be that from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, If I find at Sodom 50 righteous in the city, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Abraham answered, Behold, I have taken upon myself to speak to the Lord, I who am but dust and ashes. Suppose 5 of the 50 righteous are lacking. Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5? And he said, I will not destroy if I find 45 there. Again he spoke to him, and he said, Suppose 40 are found there. He answered, 40, for the sake of 40 I will not do it. Then he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 are found there. He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. He said, Behold, I have taken upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 are found there. He answered, For sake of 20 I will not destroy it. Then he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak again, but this once. Suppose 10 are found there. He answered, For the sake of 10 I will not destroy it. And the Lord went his way when he had finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. The 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and bowed himself with his face to the earth, and said, My lords, turn aside, I pray you, to your servant's house, and spend the night, and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early and go on your way. They said, No, we will spend the night in the street. But he urged them strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread.
Let's say you want to go and read
But
it
before they
as
lay
if
down,
you've
the
never
men
read
of the
it
city,
before
the men of Sodom,
with a
both
blank
young
slate.
and old, all the people of
There's
the
no
last night,
way.
surrounded the house, and they called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them." Lot went out of the door to the men, shut the door after him, and said, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have 2 daughters who have not known man. Let me bring them out to you, and do to them as you please. Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand back." And they said, "This fellow came to sojourn, and he would play the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them." Then they pressed hard against the man Lot, and drew near to break the door. But the men put forth their hands, and brought Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the door of the house, both small and great, that they wearied themselves groping for the door. Then the men said to Lot, Have you anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city, bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and said to his sons-in-laws who were to marry his daughters, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city." But he seemed to his sons-in-laws to be jesting. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters, who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of this city." But he lingered. So the men seized him and his wife and his 2 daughters by the hand, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him forth and set him outside the city. And when they had brought them forth, they said, "Flee for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Flee for the hills, lest you be consumed." And Lot said to them, "Oh no, my lords. Behold, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life. But I cannot flee to the hills, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. Behold, yonder city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one, and my life will be saved?" He said to him, "Behold, I grant you this favor also, that I will not overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Make haste, escape there, for I can do nothing till you arrive there." Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife, behold him, looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. And he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the valley, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was that when God destroyed the cities of the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. Now Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the hills with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. So he dwelt in a cave with his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is not a man on earth to come in us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve offspring through our father." So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. He did not know when she lay down or when she arose. And on the next day the firstborn said to the younger, "Behold, I lay last night with my father. Let us make him drink wine tonight also. Then you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve offspring through our father." So they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both daughters of Lot were with child by their father. Their firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. The younger also bore a son, and called his name Ben-ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. From there Abraham journeyed toward the territory of Negev, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur. And he sojourned As he sojourned in Gerar, and Abraham said of Sarah his wife, "He is my sister." And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God said to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, "Behold, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife." Now Abimelech had not approached her, so he said, "Lord, will you slay an innocent people? Did he not himself say to me, 'She is my sister'?" And she herself said, "He is my brother." In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands, I have done this. Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know that you have done this in the integrity of your heart, and it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now then, restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours." So Abimelech rose early in the morning, and he called all his servants and told them all these things. And the men were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? And how have I sinned against you, that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me things that ought not to be done." And Abimelech said to Abraham, "What were you thinking of that you did this thing?" Abraham said, "I did it because I thought there is no fear of God at all in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said to her, 'This is the kindness you must do me. At every place to which we come, say of me, he is my brother.'" Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham, and restored Sarah his wife to him. And Abimelech said, "Behold, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you." To Sarah he said, "Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is your vindication in the eyes of all who are with you, and before every one who are righted." Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, and also healed his wife and female slaves, so that they bore children. For the Lord had closed all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. The Lord visited Sarah as he had sent, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived, and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, which Sarah bore him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, "God made laughter for me. Every one who hears will laugh over me." And she said, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would suckle children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." And the child grew, and he was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom had borne to Abraham, playing with her son Isaac. So she said to Abraham, "Cast out the slave woman with her son, for the son of the slave woman shall not be heir with my son Isaac." And the thing was very displeasing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, "Be not displeased because of the lad and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you, for through Isaac shall your descendants be named. And I will make a nation of the son of slave woman also, because he is your offspring." So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she cast the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down over against him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot. "For," she said, "let me not look upon the death of the child, and as she sat over against him, the child lifted up his voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him fast with your hand, for I will make him a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the skin with water, and gave the lad a drink. And God was with the lad. He grew up, lived in the wilderness, became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Haran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, said to Abraham, God is with you in all that you do. Now, therefore, swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my offspring, or with my posterity. But as I have dealt loyally with you, you will deal with me and with the land where you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I swear, I will swear. When Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water which Abimelech's servant had seized, Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I had not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set seven ewe lambs of the flock apart, and Abimelech said to Abraham, What is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs which you have set apart? He said, These 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, that you may be a witness, for that I dug this well. Therefore that place was called Be'er Sheba, because there before of them swore an oath. So they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his army, rose up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned many days in the land of the Philistines. After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Take your son, your only begotten son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac, and he cut the wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey. I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and he laid it on Isaac his son. He took in his hand the fire and the knife. So they went both of them together. And Isaac said to his father Abraham, My father. He said, Here am I, my son. He said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, God will provide himself for a lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So they went both of them together. When they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bowed Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham put forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Do not lay your hand on the lad, or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only begotten son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called the name of that place, The Lord will provide. As it is said to this day, On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided. And the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven, and said, By myself I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done this, and have not withheld your son, your only begotten son. I will indeed bless you, and I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, as the sand which is on the seashore. And your descendants shall possess the gate of their enemies, and by your descendants shall all the nations of the earth bless themselves because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. Now, after these things, it was told Abraham, behold, Milcah also has borne children to your brother Nahor. Uz, the firstborn, Buz, his brother, Tamul, the father of Aram, Chesed, Hazo, Eldash, Jadlah, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. Moreover, his concubine, whose name was Reumah, bore Tabah, Gaham, Tahash, and Maacah. Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah, and Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham rose up before his dead and said to the Hittites, I am a stranger and a sojourner among you. Give me property among you for a burying place, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The Hittites answered Abraham, Hear us, my lord. You are a mighty man among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of your sepulchres.
Those were pure
None of us
skis.
will withhold
Fucking
from you this
amazing.
sepulchre, or hinder you from burying your dead. Is it sepulchre or sepulchre? Or hinder you from burying your dead. Abraham rose and bowed to the Hittites, the people in the land, and he said to them, If you are willing that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat me for Ephron and the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns. It is at the end of his field for the full price. Let him give it to me in your presence as a possession for a burying place. Now Ephron,
Him your life.
All right, well, that's what they're doing.
Never heard that one before, did you? You used to cosmology arguments and talking about Big Bang and all of that. It's way simpler than that, bro. It's way simpler than that. You know your mother didn't give you life.
We can move on from Rich. He doesn't have any more arguments.
Yo, what you mean? What you mean I didn't come out of my mama's pussy, motherfucker?
Is this one respectable atheists, Rich, that we should be listening to? Or is it one of the ones that we're not supposed to kick because, you know, we don't like what they said? Which one is that?
Wait, how you know he's an atheist, you know?
You'll kick this guy as soon as it's clear to y'all, as it is to me, that he's not here to have an honest conversation.
Wait, do you know him? How do you know he's an atheist? He could be agnostic. He could be...
I moved him down with shit. Like, he's not...
Thank you.
He answered this question. He's not willing to engage any more than that. And it's just he wants to ask about trivial things. Answer about the purpose of life. He doesn't want to engage with that. He wants to engage with that, how you treat others. Focus on yourself. These people, they're not focused on the real question. And instead they want to discuss like periphery issues. Oh, what's stupid? What's not stupid? You guys are stupid. How you couldn't answer a simple question. Rashid, I agree with you.
I put a uniform on. I have lived abroad for over 8 years, right? Like, understand what I am saying. I'm not saying I don't go out every day and experience, or I don't go out every day and I'm not confronted by racism. My thing is acknowledging, and I said this maybe twice, that it is built into the fabric of this country. It is. It is also built into, and I think Nene said this, globally. It just is. Now, what Nene also said that was also true was being an American, people do treat you differently. However, being...
Want to get it, you want to Am I wrong? Are you putting the skull up?
Okay, what temperature do you prefer your steak?
What do you mean? I cook my shit like at 160.
I'm done.
It depends, like, cause
No, I couldn't answer that either.
We were listening to
Because I
Noda
felt like it.
reading the Bible's Act.
It just makes sense. 1 year after slavery, we
Jumping
made
out.
80 million, and we're up here crying about DEI today. It just don't make sense to me.
I don't think many people really care about that 3-letter acronym, bro. There's a whole lot more history on the table of the surplus created in this country that still ain't been dealt with properly. Plain and simple, man.
I mean,
we ain't benefit from that.
If 80 million.
You shall say, drink, and I will water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I shall know you have shown mercy to my master. Before he had done speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her water jar upon her shoulder. The maiden was very fair to look upon a virgin, whom no man had known. She went down to the spring and filled her jar and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, Please give me a little water to drink from your jar. She said, Drink, my lord. And she quickly let down her jar upon her hand and gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw for your camels